Hello everybody, I'm back. In the last video, I built this optimized uptime metric, and which is basically like the same thing as uptime, except it's more, it stores less data and it's more optimized. Instead of showing the uptime graph using 100,000 points, it only shows it with like 15 points. So it uses less bandwidth when you're rendering it. And after I built it, I tried to test it, and I ran into an issue, and I didn't feel like the video was already really long, so I just stopped it. And while the video was off, I found out what the problem was. There's actually two problems. The first is when I made this power on, I copy and pasted it and made the second one that was supposed to be power off, but I forgot to change the name. So, so when this got called, instead of calling this one, it was calling this one. And also, this previous poll was misspelled. I forgot the O. So there it is. Now we're going to try it. So that's removed. Make the tick. Forgot the debugger. Forgot the import. Looks like it's another forgotten import. Not sure what that is. I think what it's doing is this was an actual error. So when it generated the tick, it raised an error. So this is actually the data that's stored as the result. So when it was called in this loop, right here. So when we called poll, it crashed, and then it stored it this way. So like, I should say false. Yeah, it's false. And the error was tick is not, yeah, so I already fixed that problem. So refresh, and then clear out the database. Oh, now it's saying JSON's not defined. Forgot that import as well. And then again, clear out the database. Also, I'll remove this debugger. Now it worked. So it says first poll. So now if we go here, there should be two of them. Yeah, so this one is the one we just did. It's actually midnight now. And then this one is December 18th. So this one, 11.6 days of uptime. And so it made the power on point 11 days ago, which would have been December 18th. And if we go to the graph, we refresh, we now have 2 points. So this is the power on point, which was 11 days ago. And then this is the latest, which was 11.6 days after we powered it on. And so now we do it again. And now it's saying extending uptime. And so we go here, we refresh, and still 2 points. That's because it deleted the previous point. So if we go here, we have 3 points. And this one is at 0 because we deleted it. There's no results, which is correct. I'll make another point. I should make a couple more points. And then refresh. And again, just 2 points. And there's no points in between, which is what we want. And if we refresh this, again, the latest one always has a point, but and then obviously you have the power on point, and then everything in between is always just going to say 0. Now we have to dim it. We have to see if it works. This part works. So in order to do that, I'm going to simulate a refresh or simulate a reboot. And so I'm just going to replace this right here with the current timestamp to kind of simulate a reboot. So the way I do that is this right here, this date time now dot time tuple, and you pass that into this make time, and it gives you a timestamp of the current time. So I'm just going to use this as the boot time. Like that. And so now if I go show, now it's going to say like 0.000, which is to simulate what would happen after a reboot. And so now when I run this this tick, okay, I made a mistake here. This takes just one argument. Power off doesn't take uptime. That's the problem. It takes the previous poll and it adds 1 second. The power on, it takes the uptime and then adds it to the current date, or subtracts it from the current time. But this one doesn't need uptime. So yeah, it's not passing anything. So that's correct. So now we have to see here. I'm just going to delete this one. And then try it again. It says reboot detected. So now if I go here, yes, that's correct. And if we zoom in, we should see 2 points. Yeah, well, there's 3 points actually. So this is the power on, or this is the power off, this is the power on, and then this is the current. So this is when I made when I made this. then this is when I in between here was when I had to fix the problem. And then here is when I ran the last poll. So I'll run it again. And now it's extending uptime. So we can look at it in here. So this is the power on, and then this was each successive tick that got deleted. And then these 3 ones right here, this is the right before it rebooted. This is the power off. This is the power on. And then these got deleted, and then this is the latest one. And if we refresh this, we have to zoom in. Yeah. And then as I keep doing it, this will extend. This will extend further and further. And the whole point here is that if we load up the thing here, we can see optimized uptime. The response is only 231 bytes. It's really small. And it's only showing these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And so that's that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this method, and I'm just going to put it on the base class so that other metrics can now use that method. So if another metric wants to add a tick, they can just use this method, and it'll work. And also, this function here is calling previous poll here, and then it's calling previous poll here again, and then a third time. So it's called, like, if I'm just going to put a print statement here. And I'm going to run this tick again. And so see, it's running 3 times. Previous poll, previous poll, previous poll. And that's not good because this is a database query. And it's not a particularly expensive database query, but it's still a database query, and we don't want to call it 3 times. So the solution here is we change this to, say, cached property. And I'll do the same for this. And in Python 3, this is, you can just do, you can import this from a standard library, but we're not using Python 3 for this, we're using Python 2. And so we can get around that because it's built into Django. So we'll just say, there's actually a cache property that's part of Django. So I'm just going to use that. It's not going to show the import. I'm looking at where to import it from. Ah, here it is. So now when I do it, I spelled it wrong. Now I was only calling it once. So that's good. And so now I'm done. And I'm going to commit this. Oh, also I need to change this back. Yep. And in the next video, I'm going to continue working on this directory size. And then after that, I will work on getting it so that we can show multiple traces for a single graph. So like this one is only one line, but other graphs you want to have two different lines, maybe two different lines on the same graph. And so I'm going to get that working in the next video. So yeah, I'll see you next video.